We have a day game to close things out here in Denver as the Reds and the Rockies close out season series play as well. If the Reds can get a win today, they will split this 4-game series. It's the Reds and the Rockies right here on Fox Sports Ohio. And hi, and a pleasant Thursday afternoon, everyone. Along with Chris Welsh and Jim Day, I'm Jim Couch, and welcome once again to Reds baseball. Well, it wasn't that long ago that shortstop Zach Cozart came off the disabled list, and Brian Price told us we will find, Chris, a spot for Scooter Gennett. He's done that, and Scooter has just continued to deliver.
And it really doesn't matter what position you put him in or where in the batting order that he hits. He seems to hit. This comes under the category of what have you done for me lately? Like last 3 weeks, how about Scooter Gennett? First in the National League in 2 different categories, home runs, believe it or not, and runs scored overall. He's third in runs batted in. His batting average is 4th best in the league. He's pushing 400 in that category. And you just wonder, I mean, is this guy ever going to cool down? So the harder he swings and the more base hits he gets, the harder the decision's going to be for the Reds going forward. This year in 2017, getting Scooter Gennett enough playing time and then deciding what to do with this guy who just turned 27 years old May 1st. He's not a free agent until the year 2020. Do you re-sign him now? Do you just keep him on the team? Do you think about maybe trading him for another chip that will help you down the road? A lot of things available with the Scooter Gennett situation, but right now I'm happy to see him in the lineup and see him producing.
Let's take a look at the pitching matchup then for this afternoon's game. On the mound for the Reds, the young right-hander who's considered the number 7 prospect in the Reds organization, Sal Romano.
You know, you're a prospect until you get to the major leagues. Once you get up here, nobody on that opposing team or lineup really cares where you rank. All they want to know is, can you throw the ball on the corner of the plate or not? And that's really what is going to be the determining factor for this big right-hander. He's about 6'5", 275 pounds, built more like an offensive lineman for the Broncos than he is a pitcher for the Reds. But, you know, he's had one stint in the major leagues. You don't make any judgment on the basis of one game, but I think that, you know, you learn something every time you get sent up and then you get sent back down again. Let's look for a little bit of improvement here with Romano, at least in being able to control his emotions today.
Now for the Rockies, it's a right-hander, Tyler Chatwood. This guy's an interesting case study, isn't he?
Well, he is. He's 27 years old. He's got a nice fastball, but he doesn't really want to throw it over the plate very much. The deeper he gets into games, the more his control lacks. He's got a very good curveball. In fact, if you look among the statistical team leaders, you'll see that he's got more spin on his curveball than just about anybody else in the National League, but they've got to put a gun to his head to make him throw the thing. So I'm not really sure I get the whole Tyler Chatwood thing. I do know this. When he's on his game, he can be very, very tough.
All right, final game of this series today here from Coors Field in Denver, the Reds and the Rockies. We'll step aside. When we come back, Jim Day explores more into the return to the big leagues of Sal Romano.
Out a 4-game set from Coors Field here on Fox Sports Ohio. I'm Jim Day. It's the return of Sal Romano. He'll make his second big league start this afternoon. First time around, didn't go as planned. I talked to Sal, and he talked about the excitement of being back and reflected on that first big league start.
Very, very excited for this opportunity again. You know, the first time didn't go as well as I wanted it to, but you know, being back here right now is a good chance to, you know, going into the All-Star break is show the Reds what I can do. I think it was normal, you know, to be, you know, nervous and amped up as I was, but, you know, this time around I think I'm a lot more ready to be here and, you know, to give the team a chance to win.
Sal says he was so amped up that he was overthrowing. It was very obvious on that day. Look for a much calmer, we hope, Sal Romano, and relying on his stuff and not necessarily pumping it in there 98 miles per hour. Reds are looking for a more controlled pitcher today. We'll see how it goes. It's the Reds and Rockies coming up on Fox Sports Ohio. Standing by with the call, Jim Kelch and Chris Welsh on this Thursday matinee from the Rocky Mountain State.
On Fox Sports Ohio is brought to you by Chevy. Check out their award-winning lineup only at your tri-state Chevy dealer. And by Skyline Chili. Feeling good. It's Skyline time. Here's the manager of the Rockies, Bud Black. We mentioned his first year here at the helm of this Colorado ball club, replacing Walt Weiss, who was here for 4 years. And it's been a good start for his ball club. That takes us right into our IGS Bringing the Energy feature for this afternoon. How about the Rockies' fastest in franchise history to 50 wins? This year's team, 87 games at what it took them. Their victory last night was number 50. They are 50-37 and very much in the playoff picture in the National League. In fact, they, the Diamondbacks, who the Reds play next, and the Dodgers are all three in the playoff hunt right now as we near the All-Star break. Take a look now at the Reds starting lineup for this, the 85th game of the year for Brian Price's club, courtesy of Menards. Hamilton, there you see Jeanette in the 2 spot playing second base today, then Votto. Duvall back in there today in left, Suarez and Schebler. Piazza moves over to shortstop and bats 7th. And Stuart Turner gets the start behind the plate with Sal Romano on the mound. On the hill for Colorado is this 27-year-old right-hander out of Redlands, California, Tyler Chatwood.
He's a free agent at the end of the year, so there's a lot riding on the season for Tyler Chatwood. More beyond, of course, than what's going on for the Rockies. The Rockies need him very much, obviously. One thing that you look at Chatwood and you're wondering is that this guy, does he throw enough strikes? In his last 15 innings, he's walked 15 batters. So the Reds really, if you're going to develop a strategy today, is to make sure you don't go up there too anxious, make the guy throw the ball over the plate, maybe work the count and try to get to the bullpen as quickly as you can. We'll see if Chatwood can get the ball over the plate. When he does, though, with his curveball, and it's a really great quality curveball, he can be very tough.
All right, we're ready to go here. On the mound is Tyler Chatwood. Leading things off for the Reds is center fielder Billy Hamilton. Final game of this 4-game series. Rockies won 5-3 on Monday. Reds won on the 4th of July 8-1. Rockies last night prevailed 5-3. And Billy Hamilton takes a strike to get this one started here this afternoon. Billy at 242 with a couple of home runs. Makes that one he thought was low, and it's quickly no balls and 2 strikes. Billy last night 1 for 5. Interesting that third baseman Chris Valleca, even though there are now 2 strikes, is way back at third base. He's getting the start over there today in place of Nolan Arenado, who gets the day game off after the night game. The outfield shades Billy to go the other way. He yanks it into right field. Gonzalez on the run, tips off his glove. This is easily going to be 3 for Billy. Around second he goes, on his way to third, and Billy Hatcher will now hold him up as the Rockies are clean and getting that ball back in. But he had given him initially the go sign, and Billy charged around third base. Finally, Gonzalez came up with that ball, got it into LeMahieu, who got it to the plate.
Well, I got to figure, had the situation been slightly different, Billy Hamilton would have been waved around third. I mean, he was thinking about it. This ball goes off his glove, and then Gonzalez crashes into the wall. Meanwhile, Billy puts on the afterburners. And finally, the brakes right there. It would have been interesting anyway, because the throw was just a little bit offline up the first base side.
Now, you mentioned Gonzalez crashed into the wall out there. There was a momentary point in time where he did not know where the ball was, and that allowed Billy to get to third. For Hamilton, his 6th triple, that has him second in the National League behind the Rockies' Charlie Blackmon. Here's Scooter Gennett now. He had a pick-me-up 4th inning hit last night after a Votto triple that got the Reds on the board. Chance to score early here.
Yeah, when you're playing in Colorado, and you normally see a lot of runs scored. Now, in this series, the scoring has been down somewhat, but you know you're going to give up this run early on here. You got Gennett and then Votto coming up. Really good chance one of these guys is going to be able to get that run in. At least one here in the leadoff inning for the Reds.
Scooter with 46 RBIs on the year to go along with his 14 home runs. He did not homer last night. That was a story because he had homered in the first 2 games of the series. Trying to do it for the 3rd time in a row for the first time in his career. And here he is with runners on third and less than 2 out, getting the job done. Votto on deck. Rockies wanted a check swing strike. Tony Walters thought they had gotten it. Adam Hamari checked over there at third with Kerwin Danley, who said no. That side view kind of shows us maybe the Reds caught a break there. Here's Kerwin. Chatwood 6 wins, 9 losses, 4.41 ERA, coming off a loss his last time out at Arizona. Just talking about the walks. He walked 3 in that game, but the big one that really jumped his walk numbers up was 2 starts ago at the Dodgers on the 24th of June when he walked 8, a career high, tying 8 walks in that game, which has pushed his walks per 9 innings this year to 4.8.
Hard to win with that kind of peripheral.
3-2.
You know, the other thing about Chatwood, he throws, I mean, if you count 2 different types of fastballs, he throws a total of 5 different pitches. A 4-seamer, a 2-seamer, changeup, slider, and curve. Sometimes making things a little simpler helps you kind of control what you've got.
bounces in there, so after getting ahead of Jeanette, he walks Scooter and he joins Hamilton on the bases.
All right, so now if you're the Reds, you've gone from thinking trying to get one run to trying to make this a big breakout inning.
Votto and the Reds did face Chatwood last year. Came on the 1st of June. It was a 7-2 loss for Chatwood and the Rockies. He allowed 5 runs and 5 2/3 in that game. Career-wise, he's making his 4th start against the Reds, and he's 0-2. Votto at 316. Pardon me, Chris.
No, I was just going to mention, Jim, that yesterday the Reds had plenty of opportunities with runners in scoring position. They had 15 at bats overall.
Yeah, they were 3 of 15.
Yeah. So if you could begin to change that trend around right here in the very first inning, kind of set the tone a little bit.
Votto hitting a cool 340 this year with runners in scoring position. Bounced back from an 0 for 5 game on Tuesday with a 2-hit, 2-walk performance last night. He comes into this game tied for the top spot in the league with 58 walks. You talked yesterday about the Rockies really working hard on pitching him inside, and that's continuing here.
Well, I think when all else fails, that's what you try to do, especially to a guy like Joey Votto, who has so much opposite field power. The problem is, however, it is very difficult for a right-hander to consistently get that ball inside to a left-hander.
Votto starts this game at 316, 5th best in the league, and he has finally surpassed his teammate Zach Cozart for batting average. There was kind of a discussion back in early June, maybe even into late May, how long it would take for Votto to surpass Cozart. Well, today Votto's at 316, Cozart at 315. Votto 5th in the league in hitting. Cozart is sitting out today 6th. In fact, they both bounced back last night. There's Duvall on deck. From 0 for 5 games on Tuesday with a pair of hits each last night. Predetermined day off today for Cozart. Base hit center field. Joey Votto, an RBI. Scooter will turn and he'll head to third as Billy Hamilton scores. And the Reds, who had 3 in 15 tries and runners in scoring position chances last night, get one here. A base hit for Votto, RBI 62.
I think Votto does this particular thing better than any other hitter in the league, which is takes a good pitch and breaks the pitcher's heart. I mean, that ball was right in on his hands right there. He got jammed, got it on the trademark of the bat, but still was able to float it into right center field for a 2-2 base hit.
That'll bring Adam Duvall to the plate. Reds get on the board in the first inning for the 3rd time in the 4 games of this series. Here's Duvall. Didn't start last night. Did get in as a pinch hitter late. Reached on an error by Nolan Arenado. Begins the game at 278 with 19 homers. He's driven in 59. Reds will pack up after a long 4-game series here in Denver. Move on to Phoenix after this one and begin the final 3-game series prior to the All-Star break tomorrow night against the 2nd place Arizona Diamondbacks. Good test for this team. A very good Colorado club, albeit they're down a little bit right now from where they were earlier. And then that Arizona club. Reds could win today, put them in good shape going into Phoenix. And then right out of the break, the Washington Nationals. Duvall thought that was low. It looked like Fox Tracks had it catching just the tip of the bottom end of the zone. Chase that one low. It's hung on to by the catcher Walters, and Duvall strikes out.
Well, Chatwood gets a strikeout on a ball right here that goes down and into the dirt. Of course, he's got a very crisp fastball, averages a little bit above 95 miles an hour, so you don't have a lot of time to make up your mind. But I mean, of the first 22 pitches he has thrown, only 13 have been strikes. That is not the kind of ratio you're looking for if you expect to be in the game a long time. 22 pitches and 1 out. You don't know how long he will be around.
Here's Suarez. To Valleca. There's 1. There's 2. Inning that had the makings of a big one for the Reds turns out to be a 1-run frame. That's what the Reds get as Sal Romano goes to the mound for the bottom of the first. Romano, that's when he made his big league debut at home against Milwaukee, and finally here he is, Chris, on July the 6th in Denver, getting start number 2.
Well, he's got to be very elated about that. The opportunity is he's probably sat down in Louisville, both on and off the disabled list, and watching other players. You know, they're watching our games on TV down there, and watching other pitchers get their shot one by one, coming up, pitching one by one, with very rare exception being sent back down. So here he is for the second opportunity. He had 1 game under his belt at the big league level. That was back in April.
He gets Raimel Tapia to lead it off, and he pours a first pitch strike in there. Working with Stuart Turner today. He had worked with Turner some down, and Turner was on the DL and on rehab in Louisville. He gets the start today. Day game after a night game, with Tucker Barnhart enjoying the off day, at least at game's beginning. Tapia at 302. He has started all 4 games of this series. Check swing strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Romano, a big guy. We mentioned that earlier. 6'5", 270. Smash, and Votto makes the play, and this is going to be a race to the base, and Tapia is going to win it. He has speed in the class, really, of Billy Hamilton, and he just beat Romano to the bag at first after a very nice defensive stop by Votto.
Well, it wasn't like Romano was slow getting over there. He was hustling as much as he could. He got a little bit of a slow break. That ball was a rocket shot, and Tapia just outruns him down the line. Simple as that. You know, you can see the angle that Romano took of him. He went dead to the bag. He didn't try to go to the line and then up the line. It's Tapia can fly.
So Romano immediately into the stretch position as he faces DJ LeMahieu, back in there after missing the last 2 games. A strained right groin. They called it a cramp.
Boy, was he impressive in this first game. Everything he hit, line drive to right field. In fact, watching him take batting practice is very, very interesting. The days that they did hit here on Coors Field prior to the game. I mean, everything he hits is to right field. And he doesn't really set up that way as you look at him in the batter's box. I mean, he hits a couple of balls out of the ballpark in BP to left, but for the most part, liner after liner opposite field.
Double play ball. Jeanette, Peraza, Votto. And LeMahieu not going to sprint down that line due to the tenderness of that groin. He is out easily, 4-6-3. Take a look now at the Reds' defensive setup behind Romano, brought to you by your Ford dealers. Today they line up like this. Duvall, Hamilton, Schebler across the outfield. Suarez, Peraza, Jeanette, Votto on the infield. Stuart Turner and Romano make up the battery. Turner making his first start since April the 24th. He's been on the DL. He went down to Louisville for a rehab assignment and been back here for a couple of weeks. Here's Charlie Blackmon. You notice the difference in the Rockies lineup today. It's the first time that Blackmon has played in a game this year, and this is his 85th start, that he has not been in the leadoff spot. Tapia there for only the 2nd time this season. Bud Black trying things a little different, giving his club a different look. That ball ripped into right center field, but Billy Hamilton moves to his left, is there. He makes the play, and a 0 on the board for Sal Romano here in the bottom of the first. One 0 Reds. We go to the top of the 2nd. Here's the Rockies defensive setup brought to you by Ford. Tapia, Blackmon, and Gonzalez. Valleca the start at 3rd today. Story back in there at short. LeMahieu back in there, the all-star at 2nd. Then Reynolds, Chatwood, and Walters making up the battery. Not as hot here today as it was yesterday. Yesterday at 97 degrees, the hottest game time temp they've had here this season. Today it's 92.
Well, they expect a high of 97 when another hour and a half or so, which, you know, is the second hottest it has ever been here in Denver for a Rockies game since 2012, when the temperature reached 100 degrees when the Washington Nationals were in town.
Nice piece of hitting there by Schebler. He lines it over the third baseman's head and into left. And the leadoff man on for the second inning in a row.
Good flat swing. I mean, that's the first thing you notice about Schebler when he swings the bat. He doesn't have a big arc in his swing. He gets it into the hitting zone, and it's a very flat level swing.
Reds had 11 hits last night. Out hit the Rockies 11-6, but the column that counted, they lost 5-3. Here's Peraza. Moves from second base to shortstop in this game. At 253 with 4 home runs. That fourth home run came Tuesday night, a booming shot out to left field. Bunts it, and this will move the runner along. Chatwood over to Reynolds at first. Sacrifice bunt by Peraza. And Schebler in scoring position with 1 out. Now you've got the bottom of the order in Turner and Romano.
I'm scratching my head right there, and I would suggest right now that that probably did not come from Brian Price. Maybe it did. I mean, you're going to bunt a guy over into second base, so, you know, a player that has not started a game since late April comes to the plate, and then you have the pitcher behind him.
Here's Stuart Turner. This is the young man, of course, claimed off Rule 5 draft by the Reds from Minnesota last December. He's been with his club all year, save for that stint he had down at AAA Louisville when he was on the disabled list for this team with a right hamstring strain. Quickly finds himself in the hole 0-2. Hitting 161. He's driven in 3 runs. Schebler out at second base. Down on that rehab assignment, he hit 237 with 3 RBIs, did Stuart Turner. He was down there for 15 games. Position players can have a 20-day, a 20-game, actually 20-day rehab assignment. Pitchers can have 30. Two and two. Sal Romano waits on deck. When he goes up there, it'll be his first big league time to the plate. He never did get there in that game back on April the 16th against the Brewers.
Nibble, nibble, toil and trouble.
Yeah, from 0-2 to 3-2. Ball 4. So Chatwood had Turner at 0-2, loses him his second walk.
You know, Chatwood is an example of a pitcher with a great physical gift to be able to throw the ball very hard and spin your breaking ball as well as anybody out there. But he's had a hard time figuring out how to slow the internal clock inside his body down when he gets on a big league mound. And the deeper he gets into the ball game, the more it seemingly spins out of control. He walks more batters as he gets deeper into a game rather than walking them early on and then kind of getting into a rhythm. So that's a pretty good example right there. I mean, he is 34 pitches into this ball game and not challenging the number 8 hitter.
Romano wants to bunt him along. He bunts to third, and the play is to first. And the runners move up. So 2 sacrifice bunts in this inning, and Romano, in his first big league plate appearance, executes perfectly.
Yeah, he does a nice job because he bunts it down the third base line. Schebler, for a moment, did not get a jump on that ball. He may have thought the ball could have been caught on a fly by the third baseman Valleca, but he makes it over to third. Turner goes to second. So good job there by Romano.
So already things have gone better for him here today than they did on that game back in April. He put a 0 on the board in the bottom of the first, and he laid down a sacrifice bunt. And look at the high fives in the dugout for Big Sal.
Is that like a virtual high five? Or I'll just text it to you later?
I think more I'd go with virtual. If he wasn't the pitcher in this game, he might catch some heat for that. Agree?
I think that's just the way they do it. I mean, 90+ degrees, you know, you got to conserve your energy.
Ball on the strike to Billy Hamilton. He had that triple to start the game. So he's hitting a modest 3 in a row, and he's really done a nice job since going through that long over stretch for Billy. He had that 0 for 20 skid, which was a career high 0 for him. Since that time, he's hit 325 in 40 at bats. Two and two.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the third inning, Jim, when we will be joined by General Manager Dick Williams. Give us a little update on the state of the Reds. Of course, touch on this potential signing or the negotiations of Hunter Green, the Reds' #1 draft pick. You know, we'll ask him questions about Scooter Gennett, some of the young pitchers. That'll be an interesting time with Dick up here.
Yeah, the GM will be up here in the top of the third. That'll be good. Saw him down on the field last night and worked it out with him to come up and visit with us here today. It'd be interesting to talk to Dick and hear his thoughts too on his first year of general managership of this team and how it has gone versus how he thought it might go. Billy strikes out. That pitch down and in from Chatwood. He gets strikeout number 2, and the Reds strand a pair in the second.
I think just not trying to overthrow, letting my sink work, mixing all my pitches, and I just felt like my first start I just overthrew a little bit too much. And I think that what's caused, I'm not a guy that usually walks people, so I think just attacking the zone and, being able to just trust my stuff, I think that was the most important thing.
It's our Elk and Elk storyline. That MLB debut was at home. He had half the town, his family in town, and admitted that he was so amped up that he was just trying to throw 100 miles per hour and throw it by guys. 9 pitches in the first inning, all fastballs, gentlemen, 95 to 98 on the gun, but he looked much more in control.
And the good thing about that, thank you, Jim, is that he recognized what he did, what he needs to do, and he says he's, as Jim said, much more calm going into this one. You could tell by just watching him and his demeanor in the clubhouse yesterday that he didn't feel overwhelmed like he did that first time. It's Carlos Gonzalez to lead things off here in the bottom of the second. That's fair, and that is foul.
Well, we covered a scouting report in the pregame show on Sal Romano. Don't know if you saw it or not. If you did not, well, we're going to go over it again right here. Here's what we know about Sal Romano. Minor league record, 33 wins, 51 losses, earned run average a little bit over 4. He's got plenty of arm, as we've talked about, his fastball going 96. And you know what a hard-nosed competitor he is. I mean, he's a guy that you can just look at him and tell he's a bulldog on the mound. What we're trying to find out, though, about Romano, can he control his emotions? Can he command his fastball? And how do you develop those secondary pitches, the slider and then the changeup? And right now, I think he's keeping it simple. Stuart Turner, and until they begin to turn around that fastball, why not just keep pumping that baby in there if that's the pitch that you can throw for a strike?
It's interesting that when you look at his minor league career, he's never had a season in which he's won more games than he's lost, although his ERA has dropped every year in which he has pitched, starting in 2012. Duvall handles that line drive the other way off the bat of Gonzalez. Showed you some of the lineup. They've come up to the plate. Here's the rest of it, brought to you by Menards for Colorado. Tapia, LeMahieu, Blackman, Gonzalez, now Reynolds, then Valleca hitting 6th. Story, Walters, and Chatwood. What's put forth today by Bud Black. Rockies have the White Sox here for 3 games starting tomorrow, taking them to the break. Reds, of course, will be in Arizona for 3. They'll see Zach Greinke tomorrow. Greinke tomorrow, Tawan Walker on Saturday, and Patrick Corbin on Sunday. Reds will counter with Tim Adelman tomorrow night, Luis Castillo on Saturday night, and then Homer Bailey on Sunday afternoon. Reynolds at .286 with 19 home runs as he faces Sal Romano. Hard breaking ball there, 2-2.
Yeah, back-to-back breaking balls. He threw a bad one before, and then he came right back and found a much better release point. Started coming, look out of your hand like a strike, and then darting down into the dirt.
Diving Jeanette cannot come up with it. That's a hit the other way for Mark Reynolds, and he's on with 1 out. Second Rockies hit. They had him shifted big time to pull, and he hit it the other way. So Reynolds is on with his 4th hit in 12 at-bats in this series. Here's a guy who had a big night last night, Pat Valleca. 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs. The 3 hits tied a career high. And his 2-run homer in the 4th inning turned out to be the difference in the game. Game against Scott Feldman. Valleca started at shortstop last night, moved over to second, getting the start at 3rd today.
I don't know if you remember the start that Sal Romano had for the Reds earlier in the year was against the Milwaukee Brewers, and he did not run into problems until the third inning. Gave up no runs in the first inning or the second inning. They gave up a 3-spot in the third.
Which isn't to say he didn't run into some trouble. I mean, I know he hung zeros, but he walked 2 in the first. He hit a batter, gave up a double in the second. Yeah, but then the back-to-back home runs by Ryan Braun and Travis Shaw did him in. When he threw 82 pitches in 3 innings in that game. Story on deck.
First 3-ball count of the afternoon for Romano.
Runner going toward the middle. Jeanette with a nice pick. Tag safe out at first base. Scooter raises his hand to Brian Price in the dugout and says, no, I got him. Let's take a look at that. Bill Miller is the crew chief and the second base umpire. He said safe in the tag attempt by Jeanette on Reynolds.
Well, you couldn't ask for a better location of that ground ball than right to the covering second baseman. Miller calls him safe. You saw the safe sign, and immediately Scooter looks into the dugout.
Bo Thompson taking a look at it down there, and Reds say play on. Scooter thought he had touched him. Had Reynolds not been running, that's an easy double play. Turns out Trevor Story gets a chance with a runner in scoring position and 2 out.
That's where they've been pitching Story all series long and really all season long. He's having a very difficult time adjusting to pitches that are away. Stepping in the bucket slightly, he's opening up and not getting to that outer corner.
Scooter talking with Mark Reynolds out there at second base. He says, I know you got him. You know I got you. But a good sales job by Reynolds. Up the middle, that's a hit. Here comes Reynolds. Close play at the plate, but Reynolds just got in ahead of the tag. Billy Hamilton showing off that strong arm of his. Turner hanging right in there and putting the tag on, but Reynolds just does get in ahead of the tag. We're even at 1.
I think everybody in the ballpark looking breaking ball right here. Romano just leaves it a little bit up. And a ground ball not hit all that hard goes through the infield. Nice play by Hamilton. I mean, he makes it as close as you can ever expect on a 2-out base hit.
And that's the thing that really sold that, because Reynolds moving on contact with 2 out, slid around the plate and reached back with his arm to touch. And we're even at 1. Tony Walters batting out of the 8th spot.
Well, Hamilton is having a tremendous defensive year out there. In fact, he's got 7 outfield assists, which leads all National League outfielders.
He came close to getting number 8 right there. Romano, like he did with Story, now gets ahead 2 strikes. Story's RBI is 33rd of the year. Tied this game at 1 here in the home second. Turner going to jog out there and say something to Sal Romano.
Well, Romano might be finding out about a summer afternoon in Denver is that you sweat, but it immediately evaporates, so that you really can't find a lot of moisture on your hands or your arms. You see him, he's kind of rubbing everything, you know, trying to get a good grip. Normally, if you're pitching on a hot day back in Cincinnati, you have the exact opposite problem. How to keep your hands dry because sweat's just pouring off your forearms down into your fingers.
Swing and a miss. Walters strikes out to end the inning, but the Rockies get a run. We'll head to the third. General Manager Dick Williams joins us here in the booth. The third here at Coors Field in Denver. Reds trying to get a win today, and if they can get that done, split this 4-game series. Reds will have Jeanette, Votto, and Duvall to lead it off. And boy, aren't we pleased to have the general manager, president of baseball operations of the Reds with us, Dick Williams. Dick, how you doing, buddy?
Good to see you, gentlemen.
Good to see you too, Dick. Welcome to Denver. Nice, not steamy Denver, but it's a little warm out here.
Always a good place to watch ball games.
It sure is.
These games have not been like typical Coors Field games, have they? They've been like more like regular games.
No, they've been competitive and low scoring, and as you saw last night, you know, we kept feeling like we were one swing away. I like those type ball games.
Scooter Gennett will lead things off as he takes ball 1 low. He's one of the many things we want to talk to you about. This guy has been off the charts good for the Reds this year, and you guys picked him up right at the end of spring training.
Yeah, we're very fortunate, and give all the credit to our pro scouting staff. You know, Scooter came on waivers, and we had 48 hours to make a decision. And the conviction of our pro scouting staff made the decision easy. They really felt strongly this guy could add to us offensively. We'd seen him across the diamond. What we didn't know was how well he would fit in inside the clubhouse. The fans should know this kid is tremendous. He's a great player and a good person, and he's made us look. He's made our pro scouting staff look real smart for believing in him.
Well, Dick, how do you balance out though the Scooter Gennett phenomenon, which right now he's 27 years old. He just turned 27 in May. I mean, is that too old to be part of the rebuilding process going on here?
No.
And has he earned everyday playing time?
No, those are good questions. And you know, right now we're looking for talent. And you know, he's an under control young player. Some of these guys blossom a little later than others. I mean, Frazier, you know, didn't even come into the big leagues until the later part of his 20s. And so Scooter's got his best days in front of him. You know, anybody that's willing to play hard, work hard, and be a good teammate and perform on the field is got a spot in our rebuild. That's for sure, and he fits the bill.
Well, you mentioned your pro scouts really had the conviction that this guy was a guy that could come in here and help, but I don't think anybody could see into the future as to what he has done.
No, absolutely not. I wouldn't pretend that we had him pegged. He certainly exceeded our expectations, hitting as many home runs as he has to date, as much as he's done in a season before. So we're seeing some things we haven't seen before. But when we picked him up, I think I talked to you guys towards the end of spring training, we really thought that a left-handed power bat would be something that would help us, and a guy that could play a bunch of positions. He's obviously most proficient at second, but the ability to move him to the corners in the outfield, play third, gives him a lot of value.
Does your trip out here just happen to coincide with Sal Romano here, or did you come out specifically to watch Sal pitch?
No, I'd already scheduled it. Wanted to be here with the team for a few days, and it always is nice when it works out that way. When you get to see someone like Sal pitch, he had that one outing earlier in the year, and I've been anxious for him to get back and have another shot, because we know there's a lot more in the tank, and he didn't really get to show it that first time. There's a lot of nerves. This year's about young pitchers coming up, and you guys have seen your fair share of young pitching. I think sometimes people's expectations are that these guys are talked about so much in the minors nowadays, and there's so much more publicity, that they expect when they arrive they're going to be a finished product. And when you look at guys, Chris Carpenter or Roy Halladay, these plenty of pitchers that have great major league careers, go back and look at their first couple years, and it's really not like you come in and pitch one game or two games and then you're ready. You're fully finished product. It takes a little while, and so I was anxious for these guys to keep getting opportunities.
Well, Dick, pretty soon you're going to have to make a decision as to which of these pitchers are elite enough to get more shots at it, because now you've run out of starting rotation spots with Homer Bailey back, Feldman throwing the ball well, Luis Castillo coming out of Double-A throwing the ball well. There just aren't that many spots open in the rotation like there were early in the year. So I would imagine opportunities like what Romano is getting today are becoming scarcer and scarcer.
They certainly are, and it's more important for these guys to take advantage of them. Hopefully in the second half we can anoint a five-man rotation coming out of the break and let those guys have a little consistency. We were forced to kind of manage the roster a little defensively in the first half with what was going on with some of the short starts and some of the injury issues. And it'd be nice to come out of the break and let these guys know that whoever's in that five-man rotation is going to get multiple chances at it, and not feel like each start is an audition.
Dick, you mentioned injuries, and we're all concerned about Devin Mesoraco's health. Kind of shocked the other day when we heard the news that he has had some left shoulder issues again. Can you kind of give us an update on what's going on?
Well, everything I've been told is that it's not linked to what he had before, and it was caused when he was kind of reaching across his body to catch a ball. And I just hope something that can calm down quick. These kind of arm things tend to linger, especially in the lat, in that area.
Wow.
So we're optimistic that that's something that rest will address. But boy, it sure seems like he's just been snake bit.
Weird play right there. Gonzalez or Reynolds could have caught that ball. Neither of them did. Ultimately, they get the force out at second base. It'll go a simple 9-6 force out at second on Votto for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, the Rockies lucky that they were able to make something out of nothing right here. Votto couldn't go anywhere because it just looked like an easy pop-up. Dick, the Reds drafted number 2 in the draft this year. You picked the guy I think that you guys really wanted, that were hoping that would fall to you. Hunter Green out of the high school kid, 17-year-old out of the Los Angeles, California area. And as yet, we've not heard whether he signed. So give us an update on what's going on with the negotiations.
Yeah, I was hoping to get, we were hoping to get that done as soon as possible. Sometimes these things tend to stretch longer than anybody likes. The deadline for getting him signed is tomorrow at 5 p.m. And we're still in discussions with his camp. I'm still very optimistic that we'll get something done. I really hope to get that behind us tomorrow and get him out playing. I really think for his benefit, the sooner we can get him out throwing, the better, and get him ready for next year.
Solid contact by Suarez to center field. That's going to score Jeanette and put the Reds back in front of this game here in the third. Jeanette with RBI 44. Reds have taken a 2-1 lead.
Dick, one follow-up question on the Hunter Green. Administratively, worst case scenario, if a young man in Hunter Green's situation does not sign, what happens then?
Yeah, you really hope it doesn't come to that, but there certainly are rules set up to accommodate that scenario, and it does happen every couple of years. Happened a few years ago to the Houston Astros. You have a guy that doesn't sign. You're awarded a pick in the following year's draft, one spot behind where you drafted this year, and that would be number 3 pick in next year's draft, in addition to whatever pick we earn in the first round. And that's meant to give the club some leverage so that we're able to negotiate in good faith with the player and know that if at the end of the day our offer's not good enough, there's some value in it to fall back on. And sure worked out for the Astros when they ended up coming back the next year, and I think picking Bregman with that extra pick that they got. And, it's not the route you set out to do. I think both sides, the goal is to get a deal signed. I still am really optimistic that we will. Sometimes it just comes down to the end. He's not the only first rounder this year that hasn't signed yet. There's a bunch of kids out there that haven't inked that final contract. I think the agents, they want to squeeze as much as they can out of it.
That's a 1-6-3 double play that ends the top of the third for the right-hander Tyler Chatwood. Reds get a run. Dick, can you hang around a little bit longer?
Sure.
All right. We'll keep him here for one more half inning. Middle of the third, the Reds lead 2-1. Reds get a run in the top half, so Sal Romano back to the mound with a 2-1 lead. Still with the president of baseball operations, general manager of the Reds, Dick Williams. Dick, you're talking with a lot of different things. I know that you were recently out at the Rookie Club in Billings, right? How are things going out there?
Oh, that's fun. I always enjoy seeing those guys play, especially right when their season gets started. So it's a mix of guys we've had in our system and then some of the recent draft picks. So I got to see Jeter Downs play, Stuart Fairchild play. Got to watch a couple games and address the players after the second game, welcome them to the organization, talk to them a little bit about expectations and what we want to see out of them this first year. A lot of guys come out and think they're going to make the big league team, that first week in Billings. And so you got to sort of remind them that, why they should have a bunch of enthusiasm and be excited to get out there. It's a long road and a long development road, and they need to listen to their coaches. And we focus on the little things at that level. We don't just read the box scores. We get very detailed game reports every day, so we know who's got a good attitude. We know who's playing hard, whether or not the numbers reflect it. So we're really excited about that group. It's a beautiful place to play out there in Billings. Good place to start your baseball career. So yeah, I enjoyed the visit.
Dick, less than a month from now will be the trading deadline, and there'll be a lot of teams moving players one way or another. And normally, teams fall into one or two categories. You're either a buyer or a seller. you know, to boil it down to the simplest level. What do you see the Reds doing?
Well, I think we'll be in discussions. You know, we certainly don't want to do anything that would dramatically negatively impact this club. You know, we've seen some good things from them. I know it looks like on paper we've got an uphill battle this season, but we like the momentum we've got. We really want to come out of the second half with a more solid rotation and give these guys a chance to win more ball games. And I don't want to pull the rug out from under them by trading a bunch of important pieces. You know, there's certainly some guys that would make sense to listen on. Guys that we don't control beyond this year. You've got to at least entertain offers. I mean, you know, regardless of where we are in the standings, we have to stay focused on our longer-term plan, and so that remains, you know, being committed to the next few years and accumulating talent that'll help us down the road. At the same time, we have to balance that with, you know, the positive momentum we're seeing now and you know, wanting to win games this year as a development tool for some of the young guys. So you know, I expect we'll be listening. You know, I doubt we'll be in major acquisition mode. I think it'll be more of you know, listening opportunistic.
Is there a win total estimate that you're looking for this year, maybe a goal to kind of climb the ladder a little bit from last year to this year to being in contention maybe next year in 2019?
You know, it's not something we discuss and manage the roster towards or manage the game towards. You know, I've said since last year I really wanted to see him take a step forward this year. I think if we'd had the pitcher health, we would have without question be on track for that goal. It's going to be a little trickier based on the injuries we suffered in the starting rotation, but I still think we, you know, everybody in here would like to win more games than last year and finish strong. And I think you know, we've got the horses to do it. And if these young pitchers come up and give us some starts here and there, I think we'll be well on our way.
You mentioned guys that are not under team control after this year, and we know you're talking about Zach Cozart, who's an all-star. He's going to start the all-star game at shortstop. Scott Feldman, who pitched last night, despite the fact not getting a win last night, he really has done a great job for you guys. And then out in the bullpen, Drew Storn. All these guys, well, not Cozart, but the other two guys you bring in here this year, and they've really done nice work for you and help you turn them into something else if you so desire.
Yeah, they've done a really nice job, especially for the acquisition cost on the two pitchers, Feldman and Storn. You know, they've been indispensable, and you know, I would think they'd be attractive to other teams, but as we've all learned from the past, you don't know what those other teams are thinking, how their scouts view our players, and you know, what their general manager thinks in terms of their clubhouse mix or what his most pressing needs are. So you read a lot of press about, you know, how much sense this guy makes for another team, and I wouldn't put a lot of stock into it. You know, you just never know when that phone's going to ring and who's going to be on the other end. A lot of times it's a call that you least expect.
Two quick strikeouts here in this inning, and now a comebacker to the mound by DJ LeMahieu, and there's a 1-2-3 inning turned in by Sal Romano. Dick Williams, thank you so much for taking some time and visiting with us. Always good to see you, and have a good All-Star break.
Pleasure, guys. Go get some wins in Arizona.
All right, Dick.
Ohio sports trivia. Find out tonight on Beer Money at 7 p.m. with Gabriella Cruz and Jensen Lewis at El Dorado Scioto Downs in Columbus on Fox Sports Ohio and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Scioto Downs in Columbus. Sorry, folks. Beer Money. Peraza leads things off here in inning number 4. Reds took a 2-1 lead with a run in the top of the 3rd. Again, we thank General Manager, President of Baseball Operations, Dick Williams, for stopping in and visiting. And certainly hope the best in the signing of first-round pick Hunter Green by 5 o'clock tomorrow. Nice play in the hole there by Story and a leadoff out. Let's head back to the studio for a game break. Here's Brian Giesenslaw. Up the middle and a base hit for Stuart Turner. So he's been on twice in this game. He walked his first time. He gets a base hit here.
Yeah, the Brewers have now won 3 in a row, not including today. And of course, when you're taking it to the Cubs just playing right at 500 baseball, 42 wins, 42 losses.
And Brewers have been in first place since that last week of May. They could push themselves 4.5 up today if they win. Here's Romano, laid down his sacrifice bunt his first time, and it figures he'll be asked to do the same thing this time. And he does. To the mound, they get an out at second, and they get an out at first. Double play ends the 4th. 3rd turn by the Rockies today.
Telecast is presented by authority of the Cincinnati Reds and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
We've documented over the last 4 days how nice of a stop this is here in Denver. Coors Field, just a beautiful place, but the Rockies didn't always play here. Their expansion year of 1993, they played in Mile High Stadium. Lots of mementos around this ballpark with their short history of the Rockies. And one of them, when you're walking down the tunnel to the clubhouses, they've got a depiction of every starting lineup of opening day. It's really a cool display going clear back from this year to 1993. Check out the shortstop on that club. Batting 8th, playing shortstop, Freddie Benavides, the current Reds first base coach and infield instructor. That was April 9th, 1993, the first ever home opener for the Rockies. They had a crowd of 80,227. They averaged over 55,000 fans that year in Mile High Stadium, still a baseball record. And his roommate that year, Joe Girardi, the current skipper for the Yankees, he said that day was so electric, did Freddie Benavides, including the first ever batter that came to the plate for the home team, Eric Young, hit a home run. He said this place, Mile High, was so loud, the loudest he's ever heard a stadium.
Jim Day, did you say 80 as in 80,000?
80,227 at Mile High Stadium. They averaged 55,350 fans that year.
That'd be like double what this ballpark now currently holds. That's hard to fathom. Freddie Benavides also was on the Montreal Expos team that, what is it, 1994. Was going to make the playoffs, saved the strike year, had that very good team that year. Freddie was on that club. Reds played up there in Montreal a couple of years ago on an exhibition. We talked about that, sitting in the dugout at Olympic Stadium. Freddie has a history. Charlie Blackmon with a base hit to start the fourth inning for Colorado. That's the tying run on. Gonzalez hit the ball hard, lined out at Duvall in left field his first time. What a rarity, him showing bunt.
Well, they're playing him around all the way to the shortstop is where the third baseman Suarez is playing. So they're basically giving him a base hit if he wants to take it. And sometimes the ego in these hitters is so great that, you know, even though you've got all this room, and now Suarez has actually moved. I mean, he was playing right here. You know, Romano was so good as far as first pitch strikes, going after the hitters, keeping things nice and simple the first time around. You don't have to change a lot here the second time around. Just because these hitters have seen you one time, it doesn't mean that they're going to be on this fastball and that all of a sudden you have to trick them. Stay simple.
Reds scored a run in the first. Base hit by Votto took a 1-0 lead. Rockies tied it in the second. Only hit by Trevor Story. Reds regained the lead in the third on a Suarez RBI base hit. Now a borderline strike. Gonzalez doesn't like it. You can hear the crowd down below. Disagreed with the call of Adam Hamari. Check it out on Fox Tracks. Upper edge.
I'm assuming Blackman's running on this 2-2 count. Is not.
And Gonzalez disposed on strikes. That looked like a little bit of an off-speed pitch there.
It is. Back-to-back sliders. He got the high call on one that Gonzalez did not like, and then he got a good one from Romano right here. Well, that's a nice-looking pitch. Looks like a fastball all the way until about 3/4 of the way to the plate, and it drops off the table. Romano now has struck out 4 of the last 6 batters.
We were talking earlier about the fact that he was really not a strikeout pitcher at AAA this year, Sal Romano.
Really the one thing, I mean, if all you do is devour the numbers, and there are people in every major league organization that are paid to do that, you know, you wonder about things like, you know, your strikeout rate, your swing and miss rate, your strikeouts per 9 innings, your strikeouts against the number of walks you give. And in AA last year, Romano had about 8 strikeouts every 9 innings. When he got to AAA this year, that dropped down to about 5. So you're wondering, all right, as you go up the ladder, and the strike zones are a little bit smaller, and the batters are a little more experienced, you know, does he have strikeout stuff? And I mean, just based on what you see today, you would say absolutely. And you're wondering, well, why wouldn't he have more punch-outs there in AAA? So between AA last year and AAA this year, strikeouts have gone down and walks have gone up. But you can throw all that out the window when you're on a big league mound. Some bad looking swings, and that's the other way that you rate your stuff is that, you know, not necessarily what the radar gun shows or what StatCast shows is how many spins and revolutions per minute, but it's what the hitter looks like.
Romano ahead here, 1-2. Got him to chase that pitch. That was a couple of good at-bats by Romano against those Rockies hitters.
Well, evidently that slider looks like a strike coming out of his hand, and you can see where it ends up. You even got Turner reaching for it a little bit. So he's got that 1-2 pitch going for him. He hasn't thrown any changeups as far as I can tell, but, you know, so far, who cares? Fastball, well located, pitching inside to lefties. Getting that slider down and away to righties.
He's not walked a batter. He's now fan 5, and he deals with Pat Valaika with a runner on and 2 out. Valaika grounded out to the second baseman, Jeanette, his first time. Blackman led off the inning with a hit. He has stayed put as both Gonzalez and Reynolds have fanned. Look at his pitch count. He's sitting at only 61 pitches as he works here 2 outs deep into the 4th. He said he would be calmer today. He said his nerves were under control. Be a different kind of start for him than he had against Milwaukee, and so far he is certainly showing that. Step off and a throw to first, and Blackman started to break, and now they have him in a rundown. Romano will get the ball back, and Romano will throw it on to Scooter, and Jeanette puts the tag on. Blackman trying to read the move of Romano, and he pays the price. T-Mobile Home Run Derby Bracket Challenge. With a little luck, you and 3 friends may be going to the 2017 World Series thanks to T-Mobile. Make your picks at MLB.com/bracket challenge. Here's what the bracket looks like. Stanton is the 1 seed. He'll get Gary Sanchez, Miguel Sano, and Mike Moustakas. It looks like he's going to be an all-star. Aaron Judge, 29 home runs against Justin Bour. 2 Marlins in there. Cody Bellinger against Charlie Blackmon of this Rockies club. The final voting is now finished, by the way. Almost 30 minutes ago, that ended up. Leaders going into today were Mike Moustakas of Kansas City and Justin Turner of the Dodgers. That announcement will come at 6 o'clock tonight. MLB Network. Those will be the 32nd members of the All-Star team for 2017. There will be some changes and additions due to pitchers throwing on Sunday, such as Clayton Kershaw of the Dodgers, who will pitch on Sunday. Thus, he will not be eligible to pitch in the All-Star game for the National League side. There'll be others. Philly out 6-3 to start inning number 5. Reds up 2-1 here in the 5th. Jeanette has walked and doubled. So his hitting streak stands at 6 in a row, and he now has a hit in 13 of his last 14 games. What a first half he has had. I mean, the way he has played, he is all-star caliber, what he has done for this team.
You know, I thought it was very interesting what Dick Williams said. When we talked about Scooter Gennett, he said that one of the things that surprised him the most so far about Scooter is how he has fit in the Reds clubhouse. And you're just wondering, you know, if the reports that he had was something negative about Scooter Gennett and the way he was fitting in with the Milwaukee Brewers. I mean, why else would they cut the guy loose? I don't get the whole situation. Somebody really misjudged Scooter Gennett, I think, from the Milwaukee end.
Yeah, and I know you have, and I certainly have, asked a lot of people as to why they would think Milwaukee would cut him loose like they did. I don't know that we've ever really gotten to the definitive answer.
I mean, he's under club control until 2020. Arbitration eligible, yes. You know, they didn't think that he was going to be an everyday player. Maybe they thought he would be, you know, less than happy with the situation as a reserve player and would cause some kind of internal problems in the clubhouse. That could be just bad speculation. But he has been just a great teammate. Very easy for the media to get along with. I mean, a fan favorite once you go 4 bombs in one game.
And let's face it.
And you go to the Fox Sports sponsor lunch the next day.
Pretty good right there.
I'll tell you that.
I mean, he has outperformed the guy who took his job, Jonathan Villar, for the Brewers. Now they're in first place. They've had Travis Shaw in the position that Villar had been playing at the end of last year, having an excellent year at third. Scooter's numbers, if you compare him to Villar's, blow him away. Ball 4. So Gennett's been on 3 times today. We'll take a break from work on July the 17th and enjoy lunch and baseball at the ballpark for only $20. With the Paycor Business Day special, you get a ticket to see the Reds take on the Nationals, plus $10 in concession credits. For tickets, visit reds.com/skipwork. Some restrictions do apply. Make note of that because that's a rare 12:35 game on a Monday, because that is a weekend wraparound 4-game series against Washington. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Joey in this game had an RBI single in the first, walked in the third. From a walk perspective, he started the day tied with Matt Carpenter of the Cardinals atop the National League leaderboard with 58. He now has 59. Cardinals are playing in their game in the 8th inning at home against Miami, leading 4-3. Milwaukee all over the Cubs in the 6th inning, 11-2. Pittsburgh plays tonight at Philadelphia. Diamondbacks play tonight against the Dodgers. Reds will actually beat them into Phoenix. Snap throw to first. Votto had to quickly jump and get out of the way at home plate. Romano, no walks, 5 strikeouts through 4 innings so far. He's given the Rockies 4 hits, just that 1 run, the bottom of the 2nd. Oh, he got tied up inside there, and he's a strikeout victim, the 3rd for Chatwood.
Well, Chatwood's got a pretty good breaking ball. If you can establish the fastball in there and you're looking at all for the breaking ball, that fastball can really get on you in a hurry. Good spot.
So here's Duvall with a runner on and 2 out. Duvall now 1 for 12 in this series. Adam, not an all-star this year, but there are many who will tell you that he has had, we've discussed it here, a better year this year than he had at the break a year ago. Of course, he was in the home run derby last year, won a 1st round, and ultimately lost to the former Red Todd Frazier in the 2nd round. Probably a welcome 4-day break for him this year, although certainly if he had the opportunity to be an all-star, he would have taken it. Zach Cozart, of course, will start at short. Joey Votto on that club. First all-star appearance for Cozart, number 5 for Joey Votto. But the first since 2013.
Tyler Chatwood started the ball game out throwing a lot of pitches in the 1st inning, 23 to be exact. Then he kind of calmed down a little bit. He started becoming a little more efficient. Had a 3-batter 4th inning, but now he's working on pitch number 21 in this inning. Will not be long for this game at this rate.
There goes Scooter.
You know, I mentioned that because We missed it yesterday, Jim, making this note, but yesterday, July the 5th, it happened back in 1953 when Robin Roberts notched his 28th straight complete game. He beat the Pittsburgh Pirates that day 2-0 in 10 innings. In fact, he led off the top of the 10th with a double and ended up being one of the runs that scored in that ball game to win. Richie Ashburn drove him in. But 28 straight complete games.
That era of baseball is hard to comprehend, the pitching, how they did it then.
Well, there were no pitch counts, I can tell you that much.
I mean, you checked on your pitcher by simply asking, how do you feel?
Well, I mean, it was hot in those days too.
Sure.
You know, and they wore those kind of heavy horsehair uniforms, you know, that once they got sweaty, I mean, you would literally carry around an extra 10 pounds.
The games were day games back then.
64 years ago.
28 straight complete games.
And that was with a 4-man rotation. So only got 3 days off. Nowadays, these guys are getting 5 days, you know, with an off day, sometimes 6 days.
They played a lot of doubleheaders back then. I guess you were the pitcher, you were expected to pitch.
And complete what you started. Of course, that was before MRIs. It was also before Tommy John surgery. And it was before powerful agents.
You put that in the same category as those other things, as if it's an injury. In the air to right center field by Duvall, and that ball is going to hit off the base of the wall. That's going to get Jeanette home, and the Reds are going to take a 3-1 lead. You know, the way Gonzalez and Blackman went for that ball made you believe that they thought it was way out of here. Neither of them could get it. Ends up being a double for Duvall and his 60th RBI.
Had a lot of hang time. I mean, Duvall was up at bat seemingly forever. The 9th pitch, he finally is able to hit that ball all the way to the wall in right center field and collect his double, the 25th of those on the season.
So here's Suarez, a run home and a 3-1 Reds lead in the 5th. Suarez had an RBI single last night. He has another one here today. Trying to drive in Duvall from second. Blackman has been unable to record a 1-2-3 inning as of yet. He's walked 4, he's fanned 3. Pass the mound to Story to retire the side. Reds add a run. They're up 3-1 here in the middle of the 5th. Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by Cincinnati Children's, changing the outcome together. And your local Ford dealer, Ford, go further. You know, one of the many, many fun things to do out in this Denver, Colorado area is whitewater rafting, and that shot looks eerily familiar. From, say, a couple of years ago, maybe. A group of us went whitewater rafting. Year after that, we all went zip lining. We've done some Colorado adventures out here when the Reds been playing the Rockies. Sal Romano back to work, bottom of the 5th. Hey, we want to send out congratulations to Kevin Shackelford. Today he was named to the International League's All-Star team via Rob Butcher, Media Relations Director of the Reds, courtesy of Ryan Ritchie, holding that same position down in Louisville. Shackelford this year 2-0 with a 1.46 and 11 saves for the AAA bats, averaging just shy of 12 strikeouts per 9 innings. He will join Jesse Winker representing the International League in the AAA All-Star game. Congratulations to him.
Now, right now, Sal Romano's got that slider just about exactly where he wants it. 3 in a row now he has punched out. And got all of them on the slider for the final pitch.
His AAA strikeout high this year was 8. Romano will pounce on this and then not be able to grab it. Despite that base hit there by Story, Sal Romano has been very, very good here this afternoon.
Yeah, a lot to like about Sal here this afternoon. Took control of the ball game really from the very first inning on, although he did give a leadoff base hit by being a little slow to the first base bag. But beyond that, he has been in control. Broke out that slider second time through the order, and feeling pretty good about it right now.
So now it's Tony Walters. That bunt hit by Story now is 5 hits for the Rockies today. Suarez way in at third. Sal getting a lot of borderline strike calls that the Rockies hitters and certainly the fans here today have not agreed with. Adam Hamari, the man behind the plate. That ball rolls over to the on-deck circle. Tyler Chatwood is in that circle. He looks like at least he will bat, although if Walters were to come up with something here, you may see Bud Black send up a pinch hitter. Movement, but no one at this point throwing down in the Rockies bullpen. Runner going. Hammered to right field. Schebler is not going to get it. Here comes Story racing toward the plate. Rockies cut the lead to 1 on a ringing double to right center by Tony Walters. That scores Story to make it 3-2.
Well, the bottom of the Rockies lineup throughout this entire 4-game series has been very quiet. They get a big hit right here from Walters as he hits that ball right in the sweet spot. The Rockets are right over the head of Scott Schebler for a double.
Rockies did not have an extra base hit on Tuesday night. They had 2 homers last night, but no doubles or triples, so that's their first double since the first game of this series on Monday. Chatwood does stay in the game, bat for himself. Chatwood struck out his first time. Not a bad hitting pitcher. Career-wise, he's at 227 coming into this game. Votto will take this himself to retire Chatwood. Second out of the inning. Reminder, you can cheer on the Reds when they take on the Washington Nationals. You can do so for as low as $12. First 20,000 fans through the gates receive a Billy Hamilton bobblehead thanks to Dynegy Energy Services. If you'd like tickets, you can visit Reds.com. Top of the order now, Raimel Tapia. And a base hit back in the first, fanned in the third. Nice sliding block there by Turner. Suarez in on the edge of the grass at third, and Votto the same at first. Tapia, decent bunter, very good speed. Votto now moving back some. Let's see if he stays back there or he elects to come in. He'll stay back. Suarez stays in. Two and 0. E.J. LeMahieu is on deck. AAA this year, right-handed hitters did much better. In fact, 50 points better against Romano than left-handers did. LeMahieu, a right-hander, on deck. 3-1. That's the first walk issued by Romano, and it comes here in the 5th. Puts runners at the corners with 2 out.
I'm wondering now how much of a leash he's going to have out there. I mean, I have not seen any activity for the Reds bullpen, but maybe there's somebody been up and we haven't noticed it. Now, it's not going to be Mac Jenkins. It'll be Brian Price going out to the mound and talk to him.
Yeah, and unlike the visit by Bud Black the other night when he went out to visit with his left-hander Kyle Freeland, when the infield and the catcher started to come out and he pushed them all away, said, no, this is one-on-one here. That's not the case here with Brian.
Well, that was a good old-fashioned butt chewing. This is a chance, I think, to kind of get him back on track. Nobody up and throwing in the Reds bullpen. So this game right now belongs to Romano. He's only thrown 79 pitches, so he's well within his pitch count parameter. I even hate saying that.
Goes against your grain, doesn't it?
But you are now in the middle of the lineup, and this is normally the part of the lineup that has carried the Rockies so far this year. LeMahieu won the batting title last year. Charlie Blackmon, normally the leadoff hitter, and then Carlos Gonzalez and Mark Reynolds. The thick of it.
LeMahieu, a .330 hitter with runners in scoring position. He bats with runners at the corners, 2 out. LeMahieu in this game is 0 for 2. There's his numbers Rizip-wise this year. Walters at third and Tapia at first. Now Romano falls behind 2-0. This is what he was not doing earlier in the game. Three and one.
And now they're going to get a couple of pitchers up. It looks like Wandy Peralta, the left-hander, going to quickly begin to start throwing. And maybe with 2 outs, Brian Price was reluctant to get a reliever up and get him hot in case he didn't have to use him.
Runner from first takes off. Ground ball headed up the middle. Cut off. Peraza. And he gets LeMahieu. Reds get the benefit of the fact that he cannot run 100%. He is out at first. Summer hits South Beach when baseball's biggest stars take the field for the MLB All-Star Game this coming Tuesday night, only on Fox. MLB news and notes following that up. Alex Wood, the first Dodger pitcher to start the season 10-0 since Don Newcomb in 1955. Well, Kyle Schwarber being recalled today after a successful 11-game stint in AAA, although today he's 0 for 3. Third team in history, MLB, to start 31-9 on the road. That's those Houston Astros, who are absolutely destroying the AL West. Starting today, leading by 16 games. They play at Toronto later tonight. Speaking of Toronto, I read a story the other day that said maybe the Cardinals were interested in Josh Donaldson, their third baseman.
Boy, if he's available, I think everybody would be interested in him.
Chatwood back to the mound. He has thrown 87 pitches heading into this inning. He's in a ball and a strike here to Schebler. Wandy Peralta still throwing out in the Reds bullpen. Romano due up fourth here in the sixth. Schebler a strikeout victim. Leadoff man down. 4 of them now for Chatwood. Here's Jose Peraza. In this series, he's now 4 of 13. Playing shortstop today was Zach Cozart, getting a prearranged day off. Jose hopes after the All-Star break to have the second half of the season of the kind he had last year. Series of 2 balls and a strike. Last year after the break, he played in 47 games, hit .355. Jose Peraza, after hitting .246 in limited time before the break. That has not carried over to the first half this year. Solid contact and a base hit, so Peraza is on. Reds have at least 1 hit in every inning now in this game. So Peraza's now hit in 4 games in a row. He had a 13-game hitting streak earlier this year. Here's Stuart Turner. He had a hit his first time. Yeah, that 13-game hitting streak by Peraza, the longest hitting streak the Reds have had this year. Turner pops it up. And that's handled by Reynolds in foul territory, so 2 out. Now Patrick Kivlahan will walk to the plate to bat for Sal Romano. So Sal finished after 5. He is qualified to be the winner in this game. 5 innings of 2 runs, 6 hit, 1 walk baseball. Safe to say, quite a turnaround from the first start he made back in April.
Really nice start for Sal.
Kiblahan seeing action in this series for the first time since the opener on Monday when he started. Played in right field, went 0 for 2. In the year he's hitting .220. 6 hits as a pinch hitter. LeMahieu will throw him out here, and the Reds finished in the top of the 6th. They'll have a new pitcher on as we go to the bottom of the 6th here in Denver. Tomorrow night as the Reds head to the desert to face the Arizona Diamondbacks. Coverage starts here on Fox Sports Ohio at 9 with Reds Live. Swinging this summer on Fox Sports Ohio, and Fox Sports Go is presented by Click It or Ticket. The game tomorrow night will feature Tim Adelman for the Reds against 10-game winner Zach Greinke of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Here, new pitcher on, trying to protect a 3-2 lead. Bottom of the 6th is Wandy Peralta.
Well, a part of the lineup where a couple left-handers will present themselves to this southpaw coming out of the Reds bullpen. 39 games now for Peralta. A good season so far, still a rookie. He'll face Blackman, left-hander, Gonzalez, left-hander, and Mark Reynolds, right-hander.
Worked on Tuesday at a 1-2-3 7th inning. He works in the 6th inning here this afternoon. And he gets Blackman. Split on Peralta this year. Right-handers 215 against him. Left-handers just 164. Votto will take it himself. And a good start to the bottom of the 6th.
Meanwhile, a really nice line for Sal Romano. You know, you have to wonder how he's going to come up and react. It's a very tough thing to come into Coors Field, face the Rockies on a day game when it's this hot. He kept his emotions under control. He struck out 6 in 5 innings, gave up only a couple of runs, and really did not give up very many hard hit balls at all. Once he started getting that slider working, that became a great pitch for him here this afternoon.
And it really puts the Reds now into a position that they have to look and decide what they want to do out of that spot in the pitching rotation. 5 days ago was Jackson Stevens making his big league debut at home against the Cubs. He was a winner. His line was 3 runs in 5 with a walk and 8 strikeouts. Here today, Sal Romano, 2 runs in 5 with a walk and 6 strikeouts. One of those two figure to stay in the rotation. The other doesn't figure to stay. Although we could be wrong, and maybe both will stay in the rotation. you know this. It has been impressive what Stevens did in his start. Impressive here today for Sal Romano, and we've all been very impressed with Luis Castillo and his work through 3 starts.
You know, it's kind of funny, really, Jim, because in a perfect world, you probably would not have seen Sal Romano at all this year. You may not have seen Amir Garrett. You may probably certainly not have seen Luis Castillo. Now, I'm saying perfect world. If Homer Bailey had been able to pitch from the very beginning of the year, same for DeSclafani, same for Finnegan, and then Scott Feldman. There are your 4 in the rotation.
Jam Gonzalez there, and he is thrown out at first base on the shift by the third baseman Suarez.
So whoever would be that number 5 guy, and it could have been a revolving door of some of the pitchers we have seen, but certainly not nearly as many quote-unquote auditions as we have been subject to.
2 out. Here's Mark Reynolds. Reds up a run, 3-2, about hit the Rockies 8-6. Late on that one is Reynolds. Base hit, scored a run back in the second, fanned in the fourth. Reynolds' strikeout numbers may be down somewhat from his years when he was annually striking out 200 or more times a season. Cracks this one into right. Schebler chasing. Schebler will get there up against the wall. Good read on that ball by the right fielder Scott Schebler, and the Rockies go down in order in the 6th. Look now at our Honda game summary as we enter the 7th inning of this one. Reds get the early lead on a base hit by Votto, 1-0. And another run in the 3rd on a base hit by Suarez. This one played at Jeanette. That broke a 1-1 tie, and there's a 2-1 Cincinnati lead. And then this double into the right center field gap by Adam Duvall. Scored Jeanette for the 2nd time today. RBI for Duvall, number 60, was 3-1 Reds then. And of course, Sal Romano, what a turnaround from that first start in April. 2 runs, 6 hits, 5 innings, only 1 walk, 6 strikeouts, and he is eligible to be the winner in this game as we enter the 7th. That's this afternoon's Honda game summary. Chris Russin, new pitcher on for Colorado.
Well, we've seen him in this series already. The former University of Kentucky Wildcat came up with the Cubs, now with the Rockies when they selected him off the waiver wire at the end of the 2014 season.
Hamilton hits it toward the hole, and Story makes a nice play to retire him to begin inning number 7. Final line on Tyler Chatwood, the Rockies starter, goes 6 innings, 3 runs, 8 hits, walked 4, fanned 4. Starters are the pitchers of record at this juncture as we play into the 7th. Here's Jeanette. Scooter's best year average-wise prior to this year in what would be considered a full season was 2014 when he hit 289. Now his rookie year 2013 he hit 324. That was in 230 plate appearances, or half a season. He has not hit over 300 since that time until where he stands now. Entering this game, Jeanette did at 317. Up that 3 points here today. Remember, he took over the job at second base in Milwaukee for Ricky Weeks, and he ultimately is supplanted by Jonathan VR. He has certainly found a home in what is considered his hometown of Cincinnati, where he was born and grew up till he was around 9 when his family moved to Sarasota. He is down on strikes, so the lefty Russin has come on and made quick work of Hamilton and Jeanette here in the 7th. Michael Lorenzen throwing in the Reds bullpen. Scott Oberg in the Rockies pen. Reds have not gone down in order today, and in fact they have not gone down in order since the first inning of last night's game. But they'll do so here as Votto lifts a lazy fly ball to Tapia, who handles that. And Chris Russin has a good 7th inning for Colorado.
Coors Field, a row of purple seats. Yes, indeed, it is the team colors, but it also designates exactly 5,280 feet above sea level. That would be exactly 1 mile. This is the Mile High City, and I am sitting a mile high. Jim and Chris sitting with all my friends, of course, and I can notice about a ½ degree temperature difference. That's about it.
Trying to locate you, Jimmy, and looking for an empty section. Oh, there you are. Yes, all by your lonesome up there. Hello, Jim.
Just here talking to my friends. Made a lot of friends here in Denver.
Have a couple of hot dogs while you're up there?
You never know once I get off camera.
I don't think a vendor would come up that high, would he?
I don't know. There's been some not very flattering shots of me on social media today, so I don't want the shot of me eating a hot dog either today. So we'll probably just watch this inning, chill out.
I'll just say this, we're glad to see you awake.
Thank you.
Michael Lorenzen has taken over here in the bottom of the 7th. Nice work by Peralta in the 6th. Now 6, 7, 8. Valleca, Story, Walters against Lorenzen.
You know, I think the bullpen strategy that the Reds talked about at the very beginning of the season, where, you know, we get a guy throwing the ball well, we're going to let him go a couple of innings. And that seems to has kind of evaporated a little bit, because what, according to plan here, it looks like today, Peralta pitches the 7th, Lorenzen pitches the 8th, and then you bring in Iglesias to pitch the 9th. Much more traditional, I think, than the way the Reds saw this bullpen playing out at the very beginning of the season.
Well, let me ask you this, though, regarding what you're talking about. How much of that do you think has been adjusted because the bullpen has had to work a lot more innings than they thought they would?
Well, it's hard to say. I think a lot of the innings that you're talking about that the bullpen has been overworked go to those pitchers that are pitching, you know, the 4th, 5th, and 6th inning when your starter's knocked out of there very early in the game. I don't think that Iglesias or Lorenzen has had a ton more work than they normally would have, because the starters have gone fewer innings. Those guys are going to get used anyway. So when you say that your bullpen is worn out, well, I think you have to split your bullpen into different areas. You know, your early bullpen guys, your middle bullpen guys, and your late guys. I think your late guys are pretty much on schedule. It just has been a more difficult balancing act for Brian Price, because he's had to, you know, use guys maybe earlier than he wanted to a few times. But there has been a revolving door of bullpen pitchers as well. For instance, the Reds just today sent down Austin Bryce. You know, we've seen a lot of different pitchers coming up and down here from AAA.
And after Sunday, they'll really be able to reset everything for the start of the unofficial second half. This is the 85th game today. Reds will have played 88 games when they get to the All-Star break. Set the rotation, set their bullpen the way they want to line things up.
Well, usually that only lasts one time through the rotation,
depending on how long they go.
Now it looks like Lorenzen is using the same strategy that worked for the starter Sal Romano. Get that breaking ball, especially to Trevor Story, down and away. He's got a couple of hits. Story had a hit where he scored a run in the 3rd inning. He was behind in the count. Romano had him on the ropes and just got a little breaking ball up just a little bit too much, and he punched the ground ball single through the middle of the infield.
Saw Story strike out in the game on Tuesday. In fact, in that game he fanned twice. That meant he had struck out in 13 straight games. Yesterday, as a pinch hitter, he struck out, so 14 straight. And of those 14 games, 2 of them he struck out as a pinch hitter. He has not struck out in today's game. Peraza bobbles that ball, and that'll be an error. Pulled that glove up just a little too quickly. The first error of this series by the Reds is on Peraza.
Right at him it was, and you just get down and sometimes you boot him.
Tony Walters will bat. Pitcher spot for the Rockies is next, and Nolan Arenado has come out of the dugout to first. Votto gets one, and the relay, and Lorenzen took the throw, and they've got him at first base. A 3-6-1 inning-ending double play, nicely turned right there by the Reds. Their second double play of the day. Take another look at it. Back in Cincinnati today. Reds will be back home after the game on Sunday and then enjoy the 4-day All-Star break and kick things up again a week from tomorrow at home against the Washington Nationals. A little business to take care of between now and then, the rest of this game and then the 3-game series in Arizona. New pitcher on for the Rockies. This is Scott Oberg.
These 3 ball games have been pretty good games overall. Very much down to the wire, as for instance last night. Here we've got a 1-run game again. Oberg comes in, game number 40.
He gets Duvall, Suarez, Schebler here in the 8th. Duvall had a big at bat in the 5th inning. He got down 2 strikes against the starter Chatwood and then hit that high lofting double to right center field. Drove in a run, which right now is the difference in this game. It's one of the same spot, a little bit deeper, and that ball will go. Home run for Duvall, number 20. He has a pair of extra base hits, couple of RBIs today, and it is 4-2 Reds. Duvall showing a little opposite field power.
Well, they say it about every hitter, you know, when you struggle a little bit and then when you start coming out of it, sometimes it starts with hitting the ball solidly, going the other way a little bit. Gets a 1-0 fastball pretty much right down the can.
Here now is Eugenio Suarez. Oberg gives up just his 3rd home run. Adam Duvall now joins Scott Schebler with 21, Joey Votto with 24, and the 20 home run club on this Reds team. There they are. Second trio of Reds teammates with 20+ homers prior to the break in Reds history. The other back in 1970, right really at the dawn of the Big Red Machine era.
Well, you talk about these guys right here, you know, anchoring the outfield situation for the Reds. A lot of people are worried, well, what happens, you know, when Jay Bruce is traded away? Will there be somebody that can provide the same kind of power that Bruce was able to provide? What about the ongoing revolving door in left field that the Reds have seen over the last few years? Well, all of a sudden now you have corner outfielders taking care of business from the power standpoint. Votto is being Votto. You know, Suarez is having a very nice year too, although the home run numbers aren't up to 20 yet.
This ball is going to drop for a base hit into no man's land in front of Blackman. LeMahieu could not get to it. Second hit of the day for Suarez. So a homer and a single greet Oberg here in the 8th.
A blast and a bloop. This one off the end of the bat. Oberg makes a good pitch on a slider. Suarez barely gets a piece of it, but he comes up with a base hit. A Coors Field single.
Good way to describe that, because that's exactly what that was. LeMahieu, of course, a little bit hampered in his ability to go get balls, just like we've seen him hampered in his ability to run hard down the first base line due to that groin injury. Schebler has a hit today. He's 1 for 3. He cracks one to right center field. This will go to the wall. This is going to chase Suarez to third, and Billy Hatcher will send him around. He will score without a throw. Back-to-back hits by the Reds here in the 8th. They had another run, and it is 5-2 Reds.
Boy, it really sounds good when Scott Schebler centers up a baseball. I mean, that's a crack that you can hear throughout the entire ballpark. I mean, as that ball just ringing double into right center field. Takes a little of the drama perhaps out of the bottom of the inning now when the Reds have been able to put 2 on the board.
I don't know about you, but I don't mind that. Peraza now, Turner on deck. I'll tell you who's loving it, Sal Romano.
And why not?
In line if he can get it here today. The Reds can hang on to his first big league win. Schebler out at second base, 2 runs in, nobody out yet in the inning. Nice play down there by Valleca, and he will throw out the runner. That's Nolan Arenado-like down at third by Pat Valleca. Now Bud Black comes out of the dugout. Get another good look at that play by Valleca. Jordan Lyles has been throwing in the bullpen. Bud Black takes the baseball from Scott Oberg. So the Rockies here in the 8th inning will make a pitching change. This is our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen. New man in, Jordan Lyles. When they take on Bryce Harper and his Washington Nationals for as low as $12. If you are interested in tickets, visit Reds.com. That series starts Friday the 14th of July, runs through Monday afternoon the 17th. 4-game series. And that's a Friday night through a Monday afternoon. First game's right after the All-Star break. New pitcher on, meanwhile, for the Rockies is Jordan Lyles.
The Reds first got a look at Lyles when he was a starting pitcher for the Houston Astros, traded from the Astros to the Rockies between the winter of 13 and 14 in the Dexter Fowler deal. And he came over here originally being a starter. Now he's been relegated to the bullpen the last couple of seasons. Pitcher that used to have a really good sinking fastball, sinker slider combination. Now he throws a combination of about 5 or 6 different pitches. Curveball, cutter, slider, changeup, a couple different types of fastballs. That's what Coors Field will do to you, make you invent stuff.
First man he faces is Stuart Turner, who been on twice today with a walk and a hit. There's the runner out at second. That's Schebler. His RBI double made it 5-2 Reds. Lyles worked an inning and 2/3 on Tuesday in relief of Kyle Freeland. Retired all 5 batters he faced. Meanwhile, Zach Cozart now has emerged and is in the on-deck circle for the Reds to bat for Lorenzen. Turner strikes out on a pitch in the dirt. They'll throw him out at first base. And with 2 out, Cozart is announced as the pinch hitter. Zach started each of the last 2 games, went 2 for 5 last night, 0 for 5 on Tuesday. Did not start, but appeared as a pinch hitter Monday. And he pinch hits here for Lorenzen. Zach at .315, 9 homers, 33 batted in, and he was, of course, voted in as the starting all-star shortstop for the National League. He and Votto will travel from Phoenix down to Miami, take place in all the all-star activities. First Reds player to start at shortstop since Hall of Famer Barry Larkin did it back in 2000. Cozart playing in his 6th game since coming off the disabled list. 5 hits, 19 at bats during that span. He's always handled Lyles very, very well. 7 hits, 15 ABs. Tony Cingrani is throwing in the Reds bullpen. Of course, we wish Zach Cozart and Votto, for that matter, nothing but the best down in the All-Star game and to enjoy the experience, particularly Cozart for the first time. And afterwards, we'll, of course, be very anxious to find out what happens with the donkey. Will he keep the donkey? Will it stay on some land that he owns in the area, or with some friends that he has in the Cincinnati area? What will happen with the donkey? Joey Votto will present him for being the all-star starting shortstop. Ripped by third and into the corner. This will be a pinch hit extra base hit for Cozart. That'll get still another run home. He glides into second with a 2-base hit, and it is now 6-2 Reds. And give themselves some breathing room here in the 8th.
Ball hit like a bullet off the bat of Cozart. I mean, he waited and waited in that at bat. Finally got a breaking ball from Oberg that was up a little bit above the knees. Jordan Lyles, that is.
Here now is Billy Hamilton. This has been a 3-run, 4-hit inning for the Reds. Sal Romano went 5, allowed 2 runs. Peralta a perfect 6th. Lorenzen a 3-batter 7th with an error in there, and then a very nicely turned 3-6-1 double play. Now Hamilton, who today is 1 for 4. Foul ball. Reds can hang on today. This will be a split of this 4-game series here in Denver against a team that's played well here. But when you look back at the Reds schedule, they have not won or split a road series since they won 2 out of 3 at Philadelphia, 26th through the 28th of May. So it's been right around 5 weeks, a long stretch. Playable for Tapia to retire the side, but a nice 3-run inning, including a leadoff home run by Adam Duvall, his 20th of the year, and the Reds are up 6-2. Of the Peanuts musical, You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, with the Peanuts ticket package. For as low as $25, you get a Reds ticket and a limited edition Charlie Brown bobblehead. Limited quantities are available. Purchase today at reds.com/themes. Marcell Iglesias comes on and works the bottom of the 8th inning. You wonder, Chris, if he's going to come on and pitch 2 innings here, what the case is.
Well, I guess the plan was all along, if the Reds had not rallied, I suppose that it would be Michael Lorenzen, who was pinch hit for by Kozar, that he would have probably pitched this bottom of the 8th inning, but Iglesias was up and getting hot, so it'll be a 2-inning outing for Iglesias unless things dramatically change. And he'll face 9, 1, and 2 in the Rockies order.
Mike Tauchman will pinch hit for Jordan Lyles as the leadoff man here in the bottom of the 8th. Tauchman on the year with this club, just 6 games and 8 at bats. He's 2 for 8. He got into the game last night as a pinch hitter, drew a walk. Iglesias disposes of the pinch hitter Tauchman to get the Bottom of the 8th started. Iglesias has not pitched in this series. In fact, he has not gone to the mound since he saved the game on Saturday against the Cubs. So, been a few days since he's taken the mound. Comes out looking sharp here today.
Well, he brings an elite level of stuff when he takes the mound. I mean, usually the jump between your setup guy and your closer is pretty close. And I'm not taking anything away from Lorenzen and Peralta or Cingrani or anybody else who may be in the setup role. But when Iglesias is out there and throwing his stuff right, well, that ball's fair down the line. But boy, is he awfully nasty.
Tapia going to get a double out of this, and now when the ball bobbled by Schebler, he'll end up getting a hit over to third. That'll be a double and an error. Tapia on base for the third time.
Boy, Tapia's had himself one nice series. You know, I don't think a lot of Reds fans had ever heard of this young man before we played them in this 4-game set in Denver, but he has been on seemingly a couple of times every ball game, right in the middle of things.
Maybe not with them when they were in Cincinnati back in May. He's at third with one out. Again, that's a double for Tapia and an error on Schebler and right. Here's DJ LeMahieu. Reds trying to protect a 6-2 lead, bottom of the 8th. Charlie Blackmon waits on deck. Got under this ball, did LeMahieu, and he hits it in the air. Gonna get a run home. Hamilton will make the catch. Tapia tags. Here comes a throw. Close.
Oh,
but safe.
Was that close?
Turner did a good job to decoy the runner, acting like nothing was happening. He caught the ball and put the tag on, and that's the second time. But today that Billy Hamilton has shown one heck of an arm out there in center.
Well, we mentioned earlier that he leads all National League outfielders with 7 assists. It looks like he was able to get in there. Tapia, remember, he has Billy Hamilton type speed. And the Reds are still going to ask for a review right here.
Call at the plate was safe. The Reds took a look at it, and they're going to challenge this. I don't know, from the look that we just got there.
I just think the way that Billy Hamilton, you know, remember that Hamilton came up as a shortstop, and that he gets to the ball quickly, as quick or quicker than any outfielder in all of baseball. And his arm and release are so quick and accurate.
Folks here at the ballpark reacting, thinking that Tapia is in there. That was a call in the field. The replay appears to show that Turner does not touch the back of the runner. And the umpires take a look at it. If the call stands, it'll be 5-3 with 2 out, nobody on. If it's reversed, the inning will be over. Call stands. So it goes down as a sacrifice fly for LeMahieu. And a run batted in. Here's Charlie Blackmon.
Well, he knows that throw's right on the money, doesn't he?
Most of his throws are. You mentioned earlier he leads the National League in outfield assists with 7, and he's come very close to picking up 2 more here today.
I always hope that Billy Hamilton does something special during a ball game, because if he does, throws out a runner or 2, gets on base, has a great offensive day, steals some bases, that means that we get to see a Jim Day interview with him after the ball game. And in my opinion, the best interview in baseball right now.
You know, I'm waiting for the day when Jim just simply does the interview as Billy Hamilton. I mean, the guy is an incredible impersonator.
Well, he has in the past, but and he'll do the impersonation of Billy with Billy, so
Billy
it's not like
it.
he's making fun behind his back.
That'll get down as a hit, and that'll make that an earned run against Raisel Iglesias here in the bottom of the 8th. Blackman 2 for 4. Now baseball's 2 biggest events of the summer, back to back. The action begins with the T-Mobile Home Run Derby on Monday at 8 Eastern Time, and then catch baseball's biggest stars at the 88th MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard coming up on Tuesday and on Fox. Coverage begins Tuesday at 7:30 Eastern Time. Rockies right now have the tying run in the person of Mark Reynolds on deck. You know that no lead is safe out here. Runner taking off. They're not holding him at first. Gonzalez in this series is 2 out of 13, including 0 for 3 today. Certainly not been the same Carlos Gonzalez that we are used to seeing throughout the years. He's set up at 0-2. They'll throw through, and the throw goes into center. That'll be a steal. That'll be an E2. After not committing an error in the first 3 games of this series, the Reds committed 3 in this game, including 2 in this inning.
Well, he got such a huge jump right there. You wonder even why Stuart Turner decided to throw the baseball. Votto is not holding him on, and Blackman's got some stolen base speed anyhow.
The count goes now full. It was 0-2. Now it's 3-2 on Gonzalez. Mark Reynolds looms next. Got it. Raisel Iglesias puts an end to the bottom of the 8th with a strikeout of Carlos Gonzalez. We'll head to the 9th. Action. That's 30 minutes before every game on Fox Sports Ohio. That's with the Reds live pregame presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing. We'll have another one for you coming up on Friday night. That's tomorrow night. Chase Field in Phoenix, and that man, Zach Greinke, will be on the mound in game one. You see those numbers, 10-game winner in the second year wearing a Diamondbacks uniform. Subpar year a year ago, but he won 13 on top of his game this year, and that's tomorrow night. He'll be opposed by Tim Adelman. The rest of the series includes Luis Castillo against Tawan Walker on Saturday, and then the final game of that series, Homer Bailey against Patrick Corbin. Those games are 9:40 Cincinnati time tomorrow, 10:10 on Saturday, 4:10 the wrap up on Sunday. Saturday's game, of course, is on FS1. Jeanette against Mike Dunn, the new pitcher for Colorado. Scooter today 1 for 2 with a pair of walks, scored twice, so he's been right in the middle of it all. Reds have actually shown a pretty good offense out here. Scooter, by the way, has updated that today, at least a hit and a run in 15 of his last 17. He's done both today. Wonder they had 5 hits, but since then, double-digit hit games, 10 on Tuesday, 11 last night, 12 so far today. Jeanette, a strikeout victim to start the 9th inning. 7 of them now by Rockies pitching today.
Pretty good little slider there from Dunn as he just starts at center of the plate and it just darts away from Scooter Jeanette here.
Here's Votto, who's 1 for 3 with a walk. Driven in a run, so Joey with that run batted in, now at 62. Adam Duvall has 2 RBIs today. He's at 61. Home run by Duvall put him at 20, meaning the Reds have 3 players for only the second time in franchise history who have hit over 20 before the All-Star break. Votto draws the walk, his second of this game. He's on here in the 9th inning. Joey's walked twice today, now 60 on the year for him. Mentioned he came in tied with Matt Carpenter for the league lead in that department. Cardinals game is over. They won 4-3 at home over Miami. We'll just take a quick look and see if Joey is atop the leaderboard now in that department. Carpenter today walked twice, as has Votto, so they're both now at 60. Here's Duvall. He's had a big day today. RBI double in the 5th, home run in the 8th. That double in the 5th inning snapped a 1-for-17 drought for him. Both balls went to the same part of the ballpark, right center.
That's probably what Don Long had been preaching to him for the last week or so in the batting cages. They use the whole field. They start getting you out, you know, with that slider going away, and then you begin to chase a little bit more and more. And you get out ahead of it. You can't drive it the other way. The only way to hit that outside pitch is to really wait on it. After having a month of June where Duvall hit .323, he was off to a .118 start here in July.
This is going to drift out of play.
Nice catch. He went a long way to get it too. Todd Helton. Always good with the glove.
Let his hair go a little bit since he last played. Look at these numbers now for Duvall. He has now tied Nolan Arenado in the National League for the most extra base hits at 47. This time sent packing. So here's Suarez with 2 out. Still a good day for Duvall, 2 for 5. Base hit his last time for Eugenio. Sal Romano in line to get his first big league win here this afternoon. He went 5, allowed 2 runs, 6 hits as the Reds starter. Solid contact and extra bases by Suarez on this ball. Votto will hustle to third and get in there. 2-base hit for Eugenio Suarez and a 3-hit day for him. Double number 14.
Good looking swing from Suarez there. And all of a sudden now, when you get Duvall and Suarez swinging the bat a lot better in support of Votto, you know, now the lineup looks a little deeper again.
Well, let's see. The Reds have 13 hits now today. That's the most they've had in a game in this series. Temple has 2 in this game. Reds have seen Tyler Chatwood, the starter, then Chris Russin, then Scott Oberg, Jordan Lyles, and now Mike Dunn here in the 9th. Mike Wood had been up earlier and throwing in the Reds bullpen. He has since stopped. I think that Iglesias will go back out there in the bottom of the 9th. Handled by Reynolds to retire the side. Reds leave a pair. They've stranded 9 in this game. We head to the bottom of the ninth. Reds by 3. Fox Sports Ohio has been brought to you by Kroger. Stop by your neighborhood Kroger to save big store-wide. Great food, low prices at Kroger. By Cincinnati USA Regional Tourism Network. Stay close to CincinnatiUSA.com. And by Toyota. For over 30 offers, visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. This series has moved now to the bottom of the 9th inning. Final meeting of the year between these two clubs. Reds can hang on. They will win 3, lose 5 against the Rockies this year. Pardon me, win 3, lose 4. 1 and 2 at home, 1 and 2 going into this game. Reynolds leads it off. Non-save situation for Iglesias. As he came in the 8th with at the time, a 4-run lead. Reynolds is 1 for 3. And he chases that one out of the strike zone, doesn't get it. That's a good start for Iglesias and the Reds here in the bottom of the 9th.
Very tough for a right-hander to hang in there against Iglesias. When he drops his arm a little bit, takes something off that slider and spins it right on the outside corner.
Now it's Pat Valaika. Nothing today like he had yesterday when he went 3 for 4 with a homer and 3 RBIs. Today 0 for 3. In the air toward left center. Duvall going to have room. Wind actually brought that ball back toward the field, and it's caught for the second out. Story in this game has a couple of hits, reached on an error, so he's been on 3 times. Iglesias gave up a run in the 8th, trying to close the door on this one here in the bottom of the 9th. He swings and he misses, and the Reds win this game over Colorado. And that man, Sal Romano, gets his first major league win as the Reds hang on to a 6-3 victory and in the process split this 4-game series. Look at that smile on Sal
what
Romano.
A feeling it must be for Sal Romano to come out here. You know, you get one start in the major leagues that didn't go well, then you go down, you get injured again. You're wondering, when is it all going to turn around? Well, it turned around for him here this afternoon. Much of it his own doing. He struck out 6 in 5 innings, was in control every inning he was out there. Nice job, Sal Romano. And most of all, congratulations on Major League win number 1. Hope there are many, many more.
Indeed, you see those numbers, 2 runs, 5 innings worth, only 1 walk and 6 strikeouts, 84 pitches for Sal. He gets the victory. So both he and Jackson Stevens, coming up and making a spot start for the Reds, get wins in their last times out. Jim Day will have more with Sal Romano on the post game. Final score today, 6-3 Reds. Reds Live post game is next.